Your story began with that first black spot appearing on your skin. That tiny swelling, the size of a hazelnut, was not just your death warrant. It was your sentence of solitude. In the narrow, muddy streets of the Middle Ages, when even the mother who birthed you covered her mouth with a cloth and recoiled instead of hugging you, you saw where humanity ended. Today, we will wake up to the horror of that cold morning. We will witness how your family transformed into wild animals, not to protect you, but to protect themselves from you. We are going back to the moment you were thrown out of your own home like a sack of refuse, the moment the door was bolted in your face, and you realized that it is not just the disease that kills, but the absence of love. The year is 1349. The world is rotting. You can smell it even before you open your eyes, the sickly sweet scent of decaying flowers and burning juniper wood that hangs over the city like a shroud. The Great Mortality has been stalking the streets for months, turning neighbors into strangers and houses into tombs. But until this morning, you thought you were safe. You thought your walls were thick enough. You thought your youth was a shield. You wake up shivering. It is not the cold of the dawn. It is a heat that radiates from the marrow of your bones. Your sheets are soaked in sweat, clinging to your skin like a second, unwanted layer. Your head throbs with a dull, heavy rhythm, matching the tolling of the distant church bells. Bong, bong, another funeral. You try to sit up, but a sharp, tearing pain in your groin makes you gasp. With trembling hands, you pull back your rough linen shirt. You touch your neck, then your armpit, and finally, your groin. There it is. It is hard, hot to the touch and dark purple, bordering on black. A bubo, the size of a small egg. It pulses against your fingertips, alive, malicious. It is the signature of the beast, the ink mark of death himself. Panic, cold and sharp, floods your chest. No, you whisper, your voice cracking. Not me. Please, not me. You scramble out of bed, nearly falling. You rush to the small basin of water in the corner. You scrub the spot frantically, as if it were just dirt, as if you could wash away the plague with cold water and rough soap. You scrub until your skin is raw and red, but the black swelling remains, mocking you. You hear footsteps outside your door, the heavy, familiar tread of your father, the lighter steps of your mother. They are preparing the morning meal. You have a choice: scream for help or hide it. But you know what help looks like in these times. Help looks like a blocked door. Help looks like a house burned to the ground with the family inside. You pull your tunic down. You adjust your collar high to hide your neck. You swallow the bile rising in your throat and force a smile onto your pale, sweaty face. You must act normal. If you act normal, maybe it isn't real. You open the door and step into the main room. The fire is crackling. The smell of porridge and toasted bread fills the air, but to you, it smells like ash. Your mother is at the table, cutting a loaf of bread. Your father is mending a leather harness. Your little sister is playing on the floor with a wooden doll. It is a scene of domestic peace that feels utterly alien to you now. You are a ghost haunting your own life. "You're up late," your father grunts, not looking up. I didn't sleep well," you lie. Your voice sounds hollow, wet. Your mother looks up. Her eyes narrow. Mothers see everything. She sees the sheen of sweat on your forehead. She sees the way you are favoring your left leg to avoid stretching the skin near the swelling. She sees the terror behind your eyes. "Are you ill?" she asks. The knife in her hand stops moving. "No," you say, too quickly. You take a step forward, reaching for a bowl. "Just tired, the heat." Then your body betrays you. A wave of dizziness hits you like a physical blow. Your knees buckle. You stumble, grabbing the edge of the table to steady yourself. As you lurch forward, your tunic shifts. The collar slips down. The black swelling on your neck is exposed. It stands out against your pale skin like a chaotic eclipse. The silence that follows is absolute. It lasts only a heartbeat, but it feels like a century. Then, your mother screams. It is not a scream of concern. It is a scream of pure animalistic revulsion. She drops the knife and scrambles backward, knocking over her chair. She grabs your sister and pulls her against her skirt, shielding her face. "He has it!" she shrieks, her eyes wide with madness. "Look at his neck! He has the token!" Your father jumps up, the leather harness falling from his hands. He looks at you. You wait for him to come to you, to help you up, to say it will be all right. Instead, he reaches for the broom standing by the hearth. He holds it out like a spear, pointing the bristles at you. "Get back," he growls. His voice is unrecognizable. It is the voice of a man facing a rabid wolf. "Don't come near us." "Father, it's me," you plead, tears mixing with the sweat on your face. You take a step towards them, your hand outstretched. "Help me, I burn." "Stay back," he roars. He swings the broom, striking you hard on the shoulder. "You are dead. You are already dead. Don't take us with you." The blow knocks you to the floor. You look at your mother. She is pressing a cloth to her mouth and nose, staring at you as if you are a monster that has crawled out of the sewer. There is no love in her eyes, only the terrified calculation of survival. "Get him out," she whispers to your father through the cloth. "Get him out before he breathes on the food, before he touches the girl." Your father advances on you. He doesn't touch you with his hands. He wouldn't dare. He kicks you. He kicks your ribs, forcing you towards the heavy oak door. You crawl, gasping for air, the pain in your groin exploding with every movement. "I live here," you scream, grabbing the doorframe. "I am your son." "My son is gone," your father spits, his face twisted in disgust. "You are a vessel of the pestilence." He shoves you with the sole of his boot, a violent thrust that sends you tumbling out onto the muddy cobblestone street. You land in the filth, the cold air hitting your fevered skin. You turn around, reaching back towards the open door, towards the warmth of the fire. Your father is standing there. He looks at you one last time. He doesn't say goodbye. He doesn't say he's sorry. He simply grabs the heavy iron handle. Slam! The door shuts with a thunderous finality. You hear the heavy wooden beam being dropped into place on the other side, the scrape of wood on wood, the lock clicking. You pull yourself up to your knees and pound on the wood. "Mother, father, open the door! Where will I go? Open the door!" But there is no answer. Only the sound of heavy furniture being dragged against the door from the inside. They are barricading themselves against you. They are sealing the tomb. Passers-by on the street, figures wrapped in cloaks, holding vinegar-soaked sponges to their noses, see you. They see the sweat, the desperation, the mark on your neck. They cross the street, hugging the far walls, looking at you with that same mixture of fear and hatred. You sit back in the mud, the rain beginning to fall, mixing with the tears on your face. You look at the closed door of your childhood home. You realize then that the plague didn't kill you, it just revealed the truth. You were never a person to them. You were just a body. And now that the body is broken, it has been discarded. You are alone, and the city of the dying awaits you. You do not sit in the mud for long. The city has a rhythm, a grim mechanical heartbeat that pulses with the frequency of death. You hear it before you see it, the heavy, iron-rimmed wheels grinding against the cobblestones,
the muffled hoofbeats of a tired horse, and the ringing of a handbell. Clang, clank, clang, clank. "Bring out your dead," a voice shouts. It is rough, bored, stripped of any solemnity. It is the voice of a man doing a job, like a fishmonger selling his catch. You try to crawl away, to hide in the narrow alley between two houses.
But the fever has turned your limbs to lead. The world spins. The gray sky above seems to be descending to crush you. You collapse against a rain-slicked wall, panting, clutching your swollen neck. The cart rounds the corner. It is a towering, rickety structure of dark wood, piled high with shapes wrapped in gray rags. Limbs stiff with rigor mortis stick out at odd angles. A bare foot here, a pale hand there. The smell hits you before the cart reaches you. It is a solid wall of stench, rot, excrement, and sickness. It is the smell of the end of the world. Two men walk beside the cart. They are wrapped in thick, tar-coated cloaks, their faces hidden behind dirty rags soaked in vinegar. They are the crows, the collectors, men who have likely survived the plague or are too drunk to care about dying. One of them spots you. He doesn't rush to help. He doesn't check your pulse. He simply points at you with a long iron-hooked pole. "One here," he grunts. "Fresh one." "He's moving," the other one says, glancing at you with dull eyes. "Not for long," the first one replies. "Toss him in. Saves us coming back in the hour." Panic flares in your chest, hot and desperate. "No," you croak, trying to push yourself up against the wall. "I'm alive. Look at me. I'm breathing." The man approaches you. He doesn't touch you with his hands. He extends the iron hook, catching the fabric of your tunic. He pulls you forward, dragging you through the mud as if you were a bale of hay. "Walk or be dragged, boy," he says. "The lazaretto is full and the pits are filling up. Stop wasting my time." You realize with a jolt of horror that your life, your memories, your dreams mean nothing to them. You are just weight. You are cargo. Too weak to fight, you let them hoist you up. They swing you by your arms and legs, avoiding contact with your skin, and throw you onto the back of the cart. You land on something soft and yielding. A body. You scramble back, gasping, pressing yourself against the wooden slats of the cart. You are sitting on a pile of corpses. Beneath your hand, you feel the cold, waxy skin of an old woman. Her eyes are open, staring at the gray sky, her mouth frozen in a silent scream. Beside her is a child, wrapped in a blanket, looking like he is sleeping, except for the black boils covering his face. The cart lurches forward. The wheels grind, clang, clank. The journey through the city is a blur of nightmare images. You pass familiar streets, the bakery where you bought bread, the square where you played as a child. People watch from behind shuttered windows. You see eyes peering through the cracks. No one comes out to save you. They are relieved. The garbage is being taken away. You look at the woman beneath you. You wonder who she was. Did she have a son who threw her out? Did she die alone? You realize that in a few hours, you will look just like her. The fever is rising, blurring the edges of your vision. The pain in your groin and neck is a constant, throbbing fire. "Water," you whisper to the dead woman. "Please, just a drop." She doesn't answer. The cart reaches the city gates. The guards wave it through without looking. They hold scented handkerchiefs to their faces, turning their backs. You are leaving the world of the living. You are crossing the river Styx, but there is no boatman, only a drunkard with a cart. Outside the walls, the landscape changes. The lush green fields have been turned into trenches. Mounds of fresh earth stretch as far as the eye can see.
Smoke rises from pyres where clothes and bedding are being burned. The cart turns towards a large stone structure on the edge of the forest, the lazaretto. It was once a monastery or a barn, but now it is a warehouse for the dying. The driver stops the horses. "Dump 'em," he orders. The back of the cart is unlatched. The mechanism tilts. You slide. Gravity takes you. Along with the old woman and the child, you tumble out, hitting the muddy ground hard, rolling down a small embankment into the courtyard of the lazaretto. You groan, lying in the mud. You try to stand, but you can't. The courtyard is a scene from hell. Hundreds of people are lying on pallets of straw or simply on the bare earth. The sound is a low, constant drone of misery, moans, prayers, coughing, and the rattle of dying breaths. There are no doctors running to help. There are only figures in dark robes moving slowly among the bodies, sprinkling lime or water. The smell here is so thick you can taste it. It coats your tongue. A figure approaches you. Not a doctor, a monk perhaps, or a gravedigger. He looks down at you. "Can you walk?" he asks. "Yes," you lie, gritting your teeth. Then find a spot of straw in the corner. He points to a dark, cavernous opening. "Stay off the path. The cart comes back every hour to collect the ones who finish." He turns away. He doesn't offer water. He doesn't offer comfort. You drag yourself towards the building. You find a patch of dirty straw near a damp stone wall. You collapse onto it, your body shaking violently. You look around at your new family. A man with no nose. A woman clawing at her own skin. A boy staring at nothing. You close your eyes, wishing you were back in the cart, wishing you were back in the mud, wishing you were back in your mother's womb. But you are here, in the waiting room of death. You touch the boil on your neck. It feels bigger, hotter. It is feeding on you. "I am not dead yet," you whisper into the darkness, a tiny spark of defiance flaring in your chest amidst the despair. But as you listen to the chorus of rattling breaths around you, you wonder if being alive is the punishment, not the prize. Time in the lazaretto is not measured in hours, but in bodies. You watch them being carried out one by one, leaving empty spaces in the straw that are quickly filled by new arrivals. The fever comes in waves. Sometimes you are burning in a desert. Sometimes you are drowning in a frozen lake. But the constant, gnawing reality is the thirst. It feels like your throat is filled with shards of glass. You drift into a restless sleep, only to be awakened by a sound that cuts through the moans of the dying. It is the rhythmic tapping of a wooden cane on stone. Tap, tap. The room falls strangely silent. Even the delirious stop their babbling. A cold draft sweeps through the hall. You force your heavy eyelids open. Standing in the arched doorway, silhouetted against the gray light of the afternoon, is a figure from a nightmare. It is tall, draped in a floor-length coat of heavy, waxed black leather that shines like the carapace of a beetle. On its head sits a wide-brimmed leather hat, but it is the face that freezes the blood in your veins. Where a human face should be, there is a mask. A long, white, bird-like beak, curved and hollow, stares down at the room. Two glass lenses glint where the eyes should be, reflecting the misery of the ward without showing a shred of emotion. The plague doctor. He moves into the room, not walking like a man, but gliding. The heavy leather coat swishes, creating a barrier between him and the contaminated air. He smells not of rot, but of strong, sharp aromatics, camphor, dried flowers, and vinegar, coming from the herbs stuffed inside that terrifying beak to protect him from the miasma. He does not rush to the bedside of the crying woman. He does not hold the hand of the dying boy. He walks slowly, consulting a ledger held by an assistant who keeps a safe distance. He stops at a pallet near yours. He uses his cane, a long stick, to lift the blanket covering an old man. He pokes the man's chest. He lifts the man's arm with the stick to inspect the armpit. "Terminal," the doctor says. His voice is muffled, hollow, coming from deep within the beak. It sounds like a voice from a tomb. "Mark him." The assistant makes a mark in the book. The doctor moves on. He is not healing. He is counting inventory. He turns towards you. The glass eyes fix upon you. You try to shrink back into the shadows, but there is nowhere to go. Tap, tap. He stands over you, a towering monolith of leather and glass. "This one is young," he murmurs, tilting his bird head. "Let us see the progression." He does not ask for permission. The cane strikes your shoulder, knocking you onto your back. You gasp, too weak to fight. The tip of the cane hooks into your tunic and pulls it down, exposing your neck and chest. The bubo on your neck has grown. It is now the size of an apple, tight and glistening. Pulsing with its own heartbeat, the pain is blinding. The doctor leans in closer, but never touches you. The glass lenses are inches from your face. You can see your own distorted reflection in them, a pale, sweaty, terrified creature. You try to see the man behind the mask, but there is nothing, only the beak. "Ripe," he says. "The pressure is immense. We must lance it, for science." "No," you whisper, clutching the straw. "Just let me sleep, please." "Hold him," he commands the assistant. The assistant steps forward, wrapping a rag around his hand, and pins your shoulders to the ground. You struggle, but you are a skeleton fighting a healthy man. The doctor reaches into his coat and pulls out a long, thin blade. It catches the dim light. He doesn't heat it. He doesn't offer you wine to dull the pain. To him, your pain is irrelevant. It is just a reaction of the nerves, a biological mechanism. "Stay still." The hollow voice echoes. The blade descends. It slices into the swelling on your neck. The pain is not a sensation, it is a universe. It is white-hot iron poured into your veins. It is a scream that starts in your soul and rips your throat apart. You arch your back, your vision going white, every muscle in your body locking in agony. Thick, dark blood and pus burst from the wound, splattering onto the doctor's waxed coat. He doesn't flinch. He watches the flow with clinical fascination, as if he were watching wine pour from a cask. "Dark coloration," he narrates to the scribe. "Foul odor, high viscosity. The corruption runs deep." You are sobbing now, uncontrollable, jagged breaths racking your body. The pain hasn't stopped. It has transformed into a throbbing, burning ache that radiates down to your fingertips. The doctor takes a sponge soaked in vinegar held by tongs and jams it into the open wound to clean it. You scream again. A sound so raw it scrapes your vocal cords. You black out for a second, floating in a void of agony. When you come back, the doctor is wiping his blade on a cloth. He stands up, looming over you once more. He doesn't bandage it. He leaves the wound open, weeping. "If he survives the night, the fever may break," he says, indifferent. "If not, burn the straw he lies on." He turns his back on you. Swish, the leather coat spins. Tap, tap. He moves to the next patient. You lie there in your own fluids, panting, looking at the ceiling. The pain is excruciating, but something else has happened. The fear. The fear is gone. It has been burned out by the knife. You look at the retreating figure of the doctor. You hate him. You hate him more than you hate the plague. You hate his mask, his stick, his clean leather. You hate the God that allows him to walk tall while you rot in the dirt. You touch the open wound on your neck with trembling fingers. It is wet, hot, and open. You realize then that there is no cure coming. There is no mercy in this world. The only thing that separates you from the corpse next to you is the rage burning in your chest. You drag yourself up to a sitting position, watching the doctor torture another patient. "I will not die," you hiss through your teeth, your voice sounding different now, lower, raspier, dangerous. "I will not be a mark in your book." You see a rat scurrying near your feet. It pauses, sniffing the air. You don't recoil. You stare at it until it runs away. You are part of this place now. The doctor is the intruder. You are the resident. And deep inside, beneath the fever and the pain, a dark, twisted thought takes root. If you are to be a monster, if you are to be unclean, then perhaps you should embrace it. The doctor wears a mask to protect himself from you. Good, you think. Let him hide. You wake up not to the sound of birds, but to the sound of flies. A thick, buzzing cloud hovers over the lazaretto, feasting on the night's harvest. You are still alive. It is a disappointment, in a way. You expected to drift away into the dark, to leave this agony behind. But the sun is shining through the cracks in the stone wall, casting beams of dusty light onto the carnage. You sit up. The movement is stiff, painful, but possible. The fever that raged like a forest fire in your veins has burned itself down to cold embers. You look to your left. The old man the doctor marked is dead. His face is gray, his mouth open. You look to your right. The woman is gone, dragged away by the cart while you slept. You are the only thing moving in your corner of hell. You touch your neck. The bandage of dried blood and pus has formed a hard crust over the wound the doctor carved. It throbs, a dull, heavy reminder of your mutilation. But the pressure is gone. The poison has been drained, leaving behind a hollow, scarred vessel. Hunger claws at your stomach. Not the polite hunger of a missed meal, but the savage, animal hunger of survival. You stand up. Your legs tremble, but they hold. You step over the bodies of your neighbors, searching. You find a half-eaten crust of bread clutched in a dead man's hand. In your old life, you would have vomited at the thought. Now, you pry his stiff fingers open, take the bread, wipe the mold off, and eat it. It tastes like life. As you chew, you notice a man watching you from across the courtyard. He is not sick, or at least not dying. He is a scavenger, one of those who sneak into the lazaretto to steal boots and rings from the dead before the crows get them. He holds a rusty knife. He sees you, a gaunt, swaying figure in a torn tunic. He sees prey. "Those are good boots for a dead boy," he sneers, stepping closer. "Take them off." A week ago, you would have begged, you would have cried, you would have given him the boots. But today, something is different. You feel a coldness in your chest that has nothing to do with the weather. You look at the man. You don't see a threat. You see meat. You see a healthy person who thinks he has power because he has a knife. You don't back away. You step forward. You want them? You ask. Your voice is ruined, a gravelly, wet rasp that sounds like stones grinding together. Come and take them. The scavenger hesitates. He expected fear. He sees emptiness. You take another step. You reach up and slowly pull the collar of your tunic down, exposing the horrific open crater on your neck and the fresh black boils forming on your chest. But be careful, you whisper, a twisted smile forming on your cracked lips. I am generous. I share everything I have. You breathe out, a long, exhaling breath directed right at him. The scavenger's eyes widen in sheer terror. He doesn't see a boy. He sees the plague incarnate walking towards him. He sees his own death reaching out. "Devil!" he shrieks, stumbling backward. He drops his knife and runs, scrambling over the wall, fleeing as if hell itself has opened up. You stand there, watching him run. And then a sound bubbles up from your throat, a dry, hacking sound. You are laughing. You have no sword, you have no armor, but you are the most dangerous thing in this city. Your sickness is a shield that no steel can pierce. They fear you. The strong, the healthy, the cruel, they all fear you. You turn and walk towards the water trough used for the horses. The water is stagnant, covered in a film of green algae. You sweep the scum aside with your hand and look down. The reflection looking back at you is a stranger. The boy with the soft face and bright eyes is gone. In his place is a creature of angles and shadows. Your cheekbones protrude like blades. Your skin is the color of old parchment, translucent and sickly. Your eyes are sunken into deep, dark pits, burning with a feverish intensity. And there, on your neck, is the mark. The jagged, red-black scar where the doctor cut you. It looks like a second mouth. A mouth that screams silently. You touch your face. You trace the lines of your transformation. "Monster," you whisper to the water. But the word doesn't sting anymore. Monsters are powerful. Monsters survive. The villagers, your parents, the doctor, they are the sheep, huddled together, bleating in fear, waiting for the wolf. You are the wolf. You wash the blood from your face. You don't try to hide the mark anymore. You tear the collar of your tunic, ripping the fabric so the scar is visible to everyone. Let them see. Let them know what you are. You walk back to your corner, not sneaking, but striding. The other patients, those still conscious, shrink away from you. They sense the change. You are no longer one of the dying. You are one of the undead. You sit down on your straw, legs crossed, waiting. Not waiting for death, waiting for the night. Because the night belongs to things like you. You find a piece of sharp slate on the ground. You start carving into the stone wall behind you. You don't carve a prayer. You don't carve your name. You carve a simple line, a tally mark. 1 day. You survived 1 day of hell. You will survive another and another until the whole world looks like you. You close your eyes, listening to the groans of the lazaretto. It is no longer a song of misery. It is your kingdom's anthem. You are the prince of the pestilence, and your reign has just begun. Weeks bleed into months, or perhaps years. Time has no meaning in the dark. The fever that once threatened to burn you to ash has settled into a cold, constant fire in your veins. You did not die. That is the great joke of the universe. The plague ravaged your body, leaving your skin scarred, your voice a ruin, and your movements stiff. But it did not take your breath. Instead, it took your fear. You no longer live in the open courtyard of the lazaretto. You have moved deeper. You found the stairs leading down to the old crypts beneath the monastery, a labyrinth of damp stone tunnels where the monks used to bury their dead. It is cool here, silent, safe. You are not alone. Others have followed you. The survivors. The ones who, like you, were carved open by the doctor and left to rot.
But refused to do so. A man with half a face, a woman who walks on twisted legs, a mute child who sharpless stones all day. They do not speak much. They do not need to. You are their unspoken leader, the prince of the pestilence. You have created a kingdom from the refuse of the world. You scavenge food from the outskirts of the city at night. You steal blankets. You light fires in the crypts using the fat of the dead. It is a grotesque existence, but it is yours. One evening, the silence of the crypt is broken, not by the shuffling of your people, but by the confident, rhythmic tapping of a cane. Tap, tap, tap. The sound echoes down the stone corridor, a sound you haven't heard since the day you were marked. You signal to the others. They melt into the shadows, hiding behind pillars and stacks of old coffins. You stay. You sit on a throne you built from broken pews and old stones, right in the center of the main chamber. The figure emerges from the gloom, the plague doctor. He looks the same as he did that day. The waxed black coat, the wide hat, the bird mask. He holds a lantern in one hand and his cane in the other. He is exploring, likely looking for more space to dump the bodies, or perhaps seeking specimens that have crawled away. He stops when he sees you. He raises the lantern. The light falls on your face, gaunt, scarred, terrifying. You do not flinch. You do not blink. You, the doctor's hollow voice echoes from the beak. He sounds surprised. You are the boy from the courtyard, the one with the dark corruption. You stand up slowly. You are taller now, or perhaps you just stand straighter. You are wrapped in rags that look like royal robes in the dim light. I am, you rasp. Your voice is the sound of dry leaves crumbling. The doctor takes a step back. For the first time, you see hesitation in his movement. He is a man of science. And you are a medical impossibility. You should be dead. Remarkable, he mutters, his curiosity overriding his caution. He raises his cane to poke you just as he did before, to inspect you like cattle. But this time, you do not let him. As the cane swings towards you, you catch it. Your hand, scarred and strong, wraps around the polished wood. The doctor freezes. The glass eyes of his mask stare at your hand gripping his instrument of power. He tugs, trying to pull it back. You do not let go. You pull him closer. "Do not touch me," you whisper, "unless you want to keep what you touch."
From the shadows, your people begin to emerge. They shuffle forward, a circle of nightmares closing in. The man with half a face, the twisted woman. They make low, guttural sounds. The doctor looks around, panic rising in his posture. He realizes he is not in a hospital anymore. He is in a wolf's den. "Stand back!" he shouts, his voice cracking.
Losing its professional detachment, he fumbles for a pouch of herbs at his belt, as if lavender and mint could save him from this. "I am a doctor! I am a servant of the city!" "The city," you say, tasting the word like rotten meat. "The city that threw us out! The city that locked the doors!" You yank the cane from his grip and snap it over your knee. The sound is like a gunshot in the crypt. You throw the broken pieces at his feet. "You serve the healthy," you say, taking a step closer. You are close enough now to see your reflection in his glass eyes. "We serve the sickness." The doctor backs away, stumbling over a loose stone. He drops his lantern. The glass shatters, and the flame flickers on the floor, casting long, wild shadows. What do you want?" he stammers, cowering against a pillar. "I can get you food, medicine, anything." You look down at him. You could kill him. It would be easy. Your people would tear him apart in seconds. But death is too simple. Death is what he brings. You want to give him something else. You reach out. He flinches, expecting a blow. Instead, you place your hand gently on his pristine, waxed leather coat. You leave a smear of dirt and grime on the perfect black surface. You lean in, your face inches from his beak. "Go back," you whisper. "Go back to your city. Tell them we are still here. Tell them we are not dead." You pause, letting the silence stretch. "And tell them," you continue, a cruel smile touching your lips, "that if they ever open the gates, we will come home." The doctor scrambles to his feet, slipping on the damp floor. He doesn't look back. He runs. The great, dignified man of science runs like a frightened child into the darkness of the tunnel, his heavy coat flapping behind him. You watch him go. You listen until his footsteps fade away. You pick up the broken cane handle. It will make good kindling for the fire. Your people gather around you. They touch your arms, your shoulders, a silent reverence. You are their protector. You are the one who stared down the beak and won. You walk to the entrance of the crypt and look up the stairs, towards the sliver of gray sky that marks the world above. The world of locked doors, of vinegar sponges, of parents who reject their children. Let them have their walls. Let them have their fear. You belong to the dark now. You belong to the earth. You touch the scar on your neck one last time. It doesn't hurt anymore. It is a callus, a layer of armor. "I am the plague," you say to the wind.